Hi there. Welcome to this episode of our Health and Wellness Expo. Today I have Ange Wilcock with me. Hey Ange, how are you going?
I'm doing pretty well, Hazel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, really great. Thank you. Ange and I go a little way back. We met each other, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago now.
Yep.
Maybe about that. And we met through the Venus Network and have just connected on so many different levels. And I've been I've also employed Ange's services to help me through some stuff just recently, which has been really, really awesome. So Ange, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? Because it's like, I can't even explain it.
Okay. Where do I start? Probably the best place to start really is I've got a 30-year career really around supporting and helping people. It's always been my passion, always around supporting people. And I've got this vision. I've had a really, really clear vision from a really young age about I want everyone on the planet to feel enough. Now that is a massive vision because obviously I can't do that on my own. So throughout the whole of my career, I've looked at how can I be the best version of myself, first of all, because unless we feel enough, we can't really do a lot because we're held back. And so there's certain different modalities and therapies and that I've trained myself in. I've traveled all over the world. And then I got really, really fascinated by neuroscience. Absolutely fascinated, understanding the brain, how it works. And I'm a really spiritual person by nature. I absolutely know that there's a source greater than ourselves, and that's always there. It's always there to support us, always there to nurture us, and always there to guide us. And it's like life happens for us rather than to us. So when I discovered neuroscience and understood the brain and understood how we operate as a human being, I then saw the bridge between spirituality and who we are. And neuroscience really is that. Then I started getting into studying about the law of vibration and understanding those sorts of things. So really, if I bring it up to date to where I am today, I've got a couple of businesses, but what I'm really focusing on today and looking at is I run the Trauma Release Centre in Cambridge in the middle of the Waikato, a beautiful place, and Waipa. And for me, it's everything is about releasing trauma. We don't have to manage trauma. We've bought into the belief that we have to manage things. We have to manage anxiety. We have to manage anger and all of that. Well, they're just symptomatic of something else. And so my whole way of working and operating and journeying with people right now is from a neuroscience perspective and looking at how we release trauma.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I just, you just through conversations with you over many weeks and everything, I've just been opened up to so many different things in terms of understanding vibrational energy and all of those sorts of things. And my understanding, I'm telling you now, is not very great, but it's fascinating stuff. And you wrote a book recently that you recently released, Ange, and that was really, really awesome, actually. I read, it's not particularly long, but it was a really great consolidation of all the big ideas into something that I could actually understand, which was really neat. And it gave me a really more foundational understanding of what vibrational energy is and how it affects us as a person.
Yeah, and it's a foundation. I mean, it's a foundation of who we are as human beings, because every thought that we have has a vibrational frequency to it. And so whatever we think, we become, and that's the truth. And we know that. I mean, neuroscience is evidencing that all of the time. And I've studied with some great neuroscientists, and I love that. So when I work with my clients, I always work with the vibrational field in which they're in. And just to put that in simple terms, it's really about talking to them about their energy, talking to them about their thoughts and feelings about themselves, and really educating them. So when I got invited to do this interview, it was very much about what do I talk about, because it's such a big area really to talk about in terms of neuroscience and spirituality and the bridge between, and how do we release trauma. And so I thought, well, probably the easiest way is just to give people some practical advice around how they can, you know, step into that place of positive energy, a positive vibration, and being able to reset their central nervous system. Because when we experience the unknown like we're in now, and we've never known a time ever like this,
Yeah, exactly.
this is a place of massive change.
Yeah.
What happens is that our central nervous system is really on that in that space of fight, flight, or freeze. We're constantly on the alert for danger. We're physically thinking that we're in physical danger and that, you know, we're in emotional danger. And of course, the mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the difference between, you know, whether there is a lion really chasing you, or whether you're just fearful of what's going to happen next. And so,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The brain is absolutely fascinating. So one of the things that I'm going to do, so I'm not going to go in and explain all about the law of vibration, because what I wanted to do is gift my Kindle version of the book to all the people that are part of your expo, because I think it would just,
that's awesome, Ange.
Give them a really good understanding and how they can reset their own central nervous system, because it is so easy. So in the basic sense is that whatever thought you have, every thought creates an emotion. Okay, it's a feeling and it creates an emotion, and then it creates an action. And those actions tend to not always be in our best interest. So if we're fearful about something, we might take an action that's not really going to support us. And then it's going to take us down a path where we feel really traumatized. Now, when we use the word trauma, people think that trauma is a massive thing. You know, it has to be a huge event. But we are actually in the middle of a traumatic event right now. Because trauma really is anything that makes you feel unsettled, that makes you feel nervous, that has an emotional response in your body, whether it's physical or whether it's emotional. So some of the things that you can do that are really going to help you checking in with yourself and really being in charge of your own well-being is look at your mood. Like, look at, how am I feeling right now? And it might seem really simple, but half the time we don't stop and ask ourselves, how am I feeling now? Because we're so reactive. So check in with your mood. Look at how you're feeling. Look at your emotions. You know, what am I feeling right now? At this point in time, right now, what am I feeling? And if you're not feeling great, you can just ask yourself, you know, what is it that I'm feeling that it's not making me feel good right now? And it could be circumstances that are outside of yourself, because most of the time when we don't feel great about ourselves, it's usually something that's happening outside of ourselves. So it's really simple. Just check in with your mood and ask yourself the simple questions. One of the techniques that I use with my clients that I find highly effective, and so do they, is when you ask yourself a question and then you have an answer, ask another question on top of that answer.
Okay.
Now, so I don't know, give me, because I'm a practical person, Hazel, right?
Of course you are.
So give me, what's something that's been on top for you that you keep asking yourself? Let's do a little demonstration. I don't want to expose you and make you feel vulnerable, but it's really good to do.
What have I been asking myself? I've been asking myself whether I actually have to opt back into real life again after this, because I've been actually really enjoying being at home. But what I've been asking myself, how am I going to get all the things done in the day that I need to get done, with all the layers of everything that's happening in our home? So I do ask myself each morning, okay, what do I need to get done today, and how am I going to get that done?
Okay. And so when you ask yourself that question, what's the answer that comes?
The answer that generally comes is I've quite a pragmatic head, and so then I'll go, okay, I've got these meetings on, so maybe between these sections I can do this work. But then I've got it gets in somewhere. So that's kind of where it goes. It's like, oh, but then I've got to do, and then I've got to do, and so then I'm not feeling any overwhelm. I'm just going, yeah, I'm not going to get anything there done today as what I want to get done. I don't know, is this a good question to use or is it not?
Yeah, well, and it's because when we ask ourselves certain questions, right? So if we ask ourselves a question, why can't I get done what I need to get done today? The next question
Mhm,
really is on top of that is, well, why is it important that I need to do that today? Or why is it important that I need to get certain things, tasks, completed
mhm.
or whatever? And
Yeah,
if we
okay.
keep drilling down on those questions, because usually it's always around our self-worth, our self-esteem, we want to
Mhm,
feel good about ourselves. So we're not really operating at an optimum level because we're always operating at a deficit level. So if we want our vibration to stay high, which means that our central nervous system is operating at optimum, which keeps our
mhm.
immune system at the best it can be,
Yeah,
we really need to be the answers that we're having are ones that support ourselves.
yeah.
So if you're asking yourself, well, I need to get this done, I need to get that done, how am I going to get it done? If you ask, what would be a different way in which you could ask that question that would be
Um,
more supportive to
what
it?
are my priorities today? I guess what must be done today.
What
Um,
must be done today? Yeah.
yeah. And that's generally where I get to, is that it's like, okay, what have I got on? This is my
Yeah.
to-do list. What can I take from that to-do list to actually achieve today or not? Um, yeah, I imagine if you'd asked me this question 10 days ago, there would have been a lot more overwhelm and um, less positive conversation with myself about it. But I've had the grace of some time with Ange, so my language to myself has changed somewhat, and so I'm letting, like, the fact that I haven't cleaned the house, that's like, I can put that away. I can push that to the side. It's like, it's not a priority that my house is clean and tidy. You know, there's some evenings I get to where I'm like, right, that's enough. I have to sort this out. But I'm just pushing those things to the side and say, no, these are things that are more important, so that I'm staying in a calm space over stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not stressing about whether the kids have actually got out of their pajamas or not. I only ask them 3 times to eat breakfast. If they don't eat breakfast, then they have to fend for themselves, and I just clean the kitchen up.
Yeah.
So I'm in quite a, for me, what feels like quite a positive space around what I want to get done. And I feel quite clear in the head about that. But 10 days ago, it was certainly a lot more muddled. Um, so yeah, that's how I'm sitting in that space now.
Yeah.
Possibly 10 days ago, it would have been more negative towards myself, like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do, I want to get so much done, and I've got to, how am I ever going to fit in doing schoolwork with the kids? And it would have been far more negative that I would have been speaking to myself, whereas now it's like, look, if I get a worksheet done with the kids, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
If they end
Yeah.
up on the screens, as long as they're doing TED Ed or some epic or something that's halfway educational for them, then that's all fine.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of balancing, and I guess it's a coping mechanism for me as a person, because it was a bit weird to begin with my children and my husband all in my office with work
Yes.
from home. So it was a bit of adjustment. So yeah.
Yeah. And so what you're really talking about, Hazel, is that you're actually, what I call, you're cultivating compassion in your life, aren't you? You're showing
Yeah.
yourself self-compassion. You're actually saying, yeah, I've got all these things that I need to do, but what's important about them and why do I need to do them? And if I don't get them done, it's okay.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
we're so used, and these are the things that we need to be doing right now, because we're in a completely different situation. We are in that space of unknown. And so what we're doing is we're trying to make everything work for us and not being
Mm,
kind. We're not showing kindness to ourselves. We're not being compassionate. And
mm,
we can flick our central nervous system really, really quickly just by showing ourselves compassion.
mm-hmm.
We don't need lots of complicated techniques or anything like that
Yeah.
to be able to remain calm when we're in this sea of we don't know what.
Mm,
So yeah, so you're showing yourself compassion, and it's such a simple way to do that, because it is asking ourselves the question, why is that important to me? If I don't get it completed, is that okay? If it
mm,
doesn't feel okay, keep asking yourself, why is that not okay, until you get to the answer. Because yeah, and I would really encourage anyone to do that. Just be your own best friend. We hear that all the time, and people go, what does that mean? Well, being
yeah.
your own best friend is really showing yourself compassion.
Yeah,
Also being
absolutely.
really grateful for what you have.
Mm,
You know, releasing trauma, recentering ourselves is so simple. We've been taught that it's complicated, it takes a long time, we need to be in therapy for years on end. We actually don't.
mhm.
And so, and again, it depends on how we look at a situation. So if you look at, I always say to people, life is an experiment, and this is showing me that it's a big experiment right now.
Absolutely.
But life is an experiment,
Yeah,
and you know, treat it with gratitude, but always be curious.
yeah,
Always
yeah.
curious. You know, always look at your life with curiosity, and curiosity is such a wonderful thing, because it's very much about, if I did this or I said that, I wonder what would happen next. Because one of
Mm,
the things that human beings fear the most is rejection.
yeah.
When we're curious, we can't be rejected. There's no way on this earth that we can feel rejection. And
Mm,
people might go, oh, is that right? And it's like, yeah, because if you're going into it with a curious mind, you want to ask something of someone, and you're going, oh, so if I asked this or did that, I wonder what would happen. Whatever that person's response is, it can have a negative impact on you if you're going in with a lens of curiosity.
that's really, that's actually
Try it.
really nice. That's a really nice way to think about that, actually.
Yeah,
You know, you're not going in with a set, you know, you're curious and you're open to what the situation will bring you. And so
yeah,
then it's like, oh, okay, so it brought me that, not this. And yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
really interesting. And it's interesting. I have been noticing the change in myself about um, my language to myself and inside, and you saying that I'm demonstrating compassion to myself. It's like I hadn't realized that that's what I was doing, but yes, I've been giving myself compassion, whereas um, my old me would have been far more, oh my gosh, Hazel, you haven't done this and you haven't done that, and why is your house untidy, and you know, you can't live like this, and you know, like I would have been far more berating and negative towards myself. Whereas
Yeah,
now I'm in a much nicer, more compassionate space for myself, and I'm telling you, it is so much nicer than where I used to be. And I'm far more productive and kind to myself. It is a much nicer space, and as a result of that, I feel like that kindness then extends to those immediately within my bubble as well. That
yeah,
I can demonstrate a lot more compassion for where they're at, as opposed to telling them to do things. I'm more compassionate about the fact that it's like, well, okay, so you've been watching that and you really want to keep watching, sure, whatever, just do it. You know, like if that's what's making you happy right now, that's just fine. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it is. It's been quite a journey, and it's a really enjoyable journey actually
Mm,
to change that language and to go from a place of criticism into compassion for yourself and towards
yeah,
yourself is a really, really nice place to be.
yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I
and
highly
it's
recommend what
simple.
Ange is recommending.
Yeah, and
Very simple.
it's very it's so simple. Like, it's our superpower. Gratitude and compassion for ourselves is our superpower. We
Yeah.
hear about it all the time, and people go, no, no, how does that work? You know, keep it like, you know, journaling is one of the things that I say is another superpower. Journal, 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 but keep
Mm-hmm.
asking the question on top of an answer, and you know, keep going and drilling down. But
Mm.
show yourself compassion. You know, three things: gratitude, compassion, and curiosity.
Yeah.
They are the most simplest tools that you have in your toolbox, and yet they are highly effective. And when you
Yeah.
look at the science behind all of that and how it impacts on you, your well-being, your immune system, it's
Yeah.
incredible. And it's so simple, because we are simple beings. We really are simple. We have everything that we need to heal ourselves. I always say to my clients, you know, you don't need healing, you're not broken, you don't need fixing either. We just got to remember who we are.
Mm.
And so we're now in a time where we have a choice. We have a choice to look at it as though, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to create a different life.
Yeah.
Or we go down the other road and go, oh, I can't wait for it to get back to normal, get back to normal. Well, I've got news for you. There's never going to be that normal. It doesn't exist. It's gone. It will never, ever exist in your life ever again. What happened 3 weeks ago will never be this, you know, where we live in this world right now, or even on the planet, it's not going to be the same. And the moment that we can start being curious with that, it starts really helping us to understand that, wow, if I can be curious and look at that in a different way, it's actually my own superpower to create what I want at the other side of this. You don't have to wait till we come out of self-isolation. Start doing it now. Ask yourself that question. What is it I want next? What's the next thing that I'd like to achieve in my life? What does that look like? More importantly, what does it feel like? Because the thing that tells us the most about what we're doing in our life is our body. Our body shows up all the time about what's not good. So if we've got an emotion, we might have an emotional response to something somewhere in our body that shows up. So your body is also a really, really good indicator of how you're feeling as well. So it's not just your emotions, it is your body. Your body will show up with aches and pains, upset stomachs. Our stomach or our digestive system is our second brain. So people out there that have problems with their stomach and their digestion, it's generally there's some emotions that are stuck there. But when we can raise our vibration through going into those higher levels of emotion, like happiness, joy, peace, contentment, we start shifting some of the things that are going on in our body. We start actually healing ourselves, because when our digestive system and our body's hurting, it's because we're in a place of tension, of sadness, of fear, of frustration, and they're all lower vibrational feelings. And I won't go a lot more into that because I could just spend hours talking about that. But you'll get a copy. You'll get a copy of my book. And really, the key message is that what you think is really, really important, because what you think is how you show up every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you start thinking, and it's not even about thinking positive things, it's actually feeling into those thoughts as well, because it's not just about, oh, okay, well, I'll decide to be happy today. You've actually really, really got to feel happy. And it's like, well, what makes you happy? Get out into nature. We can still do that. We can still go for walks. We can get out into nature to ground yourself. It's so important to keep yourself grounded. Feel the earth under your feet. You can go out and feel the wind on your face. All of those things, because we are vibrational beings, are all part of your well-being. And they don't cost a cent. They don't cost anything. And then when you can supplement it by the beautiful things that, you have, like with the oils, which I have too, and my oils are going at the moment. I supplement them with my clients. And so smell, because we evoke all of our senses. And so there are so many simple things that we can do for our own well-being, health and well-being. And I would encourage you, just the simplest thing of life is an experiment, and have a curious mind.
That's like it is that simple, isn't it? It's just have a curious mind. I noticed today, today was we needed groceries, and so did my in-laws, and so did my mum, and so I had to go, and Daryl was too busy today, so I went and did those today. It's taken me 3 hours to do 2 times to the grocery store, and it's funny how you say, be curious, because I went to the New World locally here, and the queue was like 40 people on, easily waiting, maybe even longer, to waiting to get in both times around. And so I'm sitting in this queue, and I was just like, okay, normally I'd feel really frustrated about this. It's just like, I could be doing a whole lot of other things, but what can I do with this time? And so I just used the time while I was standing in the queue doing things as you can on your phone. And at no point did I feel frustrated with the whole adventure that it was. But it was like, isn't it curious? I didn't use the word isn't it curious, but that is exactly what I was thinking when the second time through, the line for the checkout started in the far corner of the supermarket. And I'm like, I wasn't that curious. And it was just like, oh, well, I guess and it was like, oh, well, I'm grateful I wore a sweatshirt because it was through the cold aisle that I had to wait.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
my space was actually, oh, well, I'm grateful that I only have to do this once a week. I'm grateful that I brought a sweatshirt with me. I'm grateful that I have a phone so I can entertain myself chatting with my friends while I'm waiting, you know.
yeah,
And so my space, even though it wasn't something I really wanted to do today, was actually go and do the groceries, I still was in a positive, grateful space for what I was
yeah,
doing. And I've just been reflecting on that as you've been speaking. And it's like, when you put yourself in a space of gratitude, I'm really grateful for the space that we have and where we're at right now. And I'm seeing this as a really positive experience for our family. And yep, I use my essential oils, and we have Harmony and Orange, not nice, positive, high frequency oils diffusing in the house. And obviously those things inadvertently are also helping me with my headspace and where I'm at. So I'm sitting in a positive space. So when I go into a space that's not as positive, I don't drop into that space like I used to.
yeah,
Like you hold your energy. And this
yeah,
is just stuff all I'm just discovering, as I go along. I feel like this little baby learning to walk and understanding the vibrational energies in the world and how they work and
yeah.
how you can influence your own. So yeah, it's worth
And
looking
it's
into. Yeah.
yeah, and it's simple. Like it's so simple. Like because, like I said to you, our body shows us all the time what's going on,
Yeah.
and it's really, really, really simple things. Like if you take the example today of when you were in this queue in the supermarket, and you had a choice about how you were going to deal with that.
Yeah.
But the first thing that you would have been doing. So what's the first thing that you do? You're looking. You're using your eyes. You're looking around. Oh my God, the queue's so long, and so. One thing that you can do, again, to reset your central nervous system, because our eyes, so what our eyes do are on the alert for danger all the time, right? So when we're going like this and going, so we're giving a message to the brain, oh, danger, danger, danger. And the danger is a psychological danger, oh, frustration and fear, and oh, I haven't got enough time and all of that. So that's the messages that you're giving the brain. You're not in physical danger. So the most simplest thing that you can do, if you're using your eyes to go like that, because we only ever use our eyes to go like this if we feel that there's danger around us, you just blink. You literally just stand there and you just blink your eyes like this. Really, really, really simply. Like our body is set up for this time. It really is. Our body is set up for now.
Right.
We've got everything that we need to relax ourselves. So it's simple. Just flutter your eyes, and you so again, it makes you feel relaxed. So next time you're out and you're looking around and just do that.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens as well is that when we're stood still or we're really tense about something, what happens? Generally your tongue, if you take notice of what's going on, just in this part of your body, right? Just your head. You usually find that your tongue is either at the roof of your mouth, or you can feel it. There's a tension in your tongue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now.
Yeah. Just simply relax your tongue. And my clients say to me, wow, I do that and I can feel tingling all over my body. It's just, it's so simple. So you don't need to be, you can be stood in the supermarket queue. You can be doing whatever you need to be doing. Life has slowed down a lot. So it means that it's going to take longer to do everything. And we're not used to that. And so that can cause frustration for people. It can cause resentment. It can cause anger. And it's like, it sounds silly, but it's like, just flutter your eyes. Just flutter them. Just allow your tongue to relax. Simple, simple.
I have a post that I have turn up regularly on my phone, and it's just a reminder to relax my forehead, relax my tongue, and drop my shoulders. And you just don't realize how much you're tense, and literally I'll be like, oh, I'm not tense, and then I'll be like, relax your forehead, relax your tongue, relax your shoulder, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much tension I was holding in my body. So it is. It's you just
because we are. Yeah, we are. We're ready. We're like on the alert for danger all of the time. And our body is showing it. Our body is showing us, and we don't realize it. And then all of a sudden, when we go, okay, how are my eyes feeling? Oh, I just relax them. How's my tongue? Because a lot of the time we do feel it in our shoulders. After a while, but we don't think about the eyes, which are the ones that are on the alert for danger. So it's just, yeah, really, really simple. There's hundreds of different little things like that I could say. But I'll just say one last thing, just really, really simple. So if you do feel angry or frustrated, the mind cannot deal with two things at once. It can only process one thing at a time. So this is really, really simple. It's the most simplest technique ever, and it's a friend and a colleague of mine told me about this, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating, and so I use it. So if you're feeling really, really angry, so what happens is when we're feeling angry, there's all tension, the jaw is like gritted teeth, and usually we clench the fist, don't we? We usually go, we get really frustrated, right? So everyone can try this on themselves. It's so simple. Think of a situation where it creates anger or frustration in you. It doesn't matter what it is. We've all got something that, whatever it may be. And all you have to do is you think about that, bring it into the mind, you'll feel it in your body. And all you have to do is get your finger and get your hand, and you just get your little finger and you pull it down like that. And you cannot feel angry. You can't feel anger. You can't feel frustration. Bring that thought back in your mind again, which creates anger or frustration in you. And then you do that and bring the thought back again when your fingers
like that.
That's
fascinating.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so you just can't. There's so many simple things. So what I'll do is
I'm going to try that next time my child is one of my children.
Yeah, just do that. You can't. So basically what you're doing is you've got a pathway that you've created and how you feel when you're frustrated and angry, and the body responds to that pathway. This is like a switch, basically. It's like, something different's happening. Switch it off. It basically is a switch. Yeah.
Wow.
It's simple. It's really, really
definitely
simple.
trying that one. Thank you, Ange. I love your tips.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look, Ange, thank you so much. I know you have two little people, because you've taken on the parenting role for this period to help out your daughter who's still running a farm. So you have two little people in your bubble 24/7. So I am so grateful for your time and for fitting us in to share all that you have today with us. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for gifting your book. What we'll do is we'll put the link to it in the comments. Is that how we'll release it out to people? So we'll put the link in the comments so that you can get hold of Ange's book. It's well worth a read. Just a couple of hours of your time, and you'll learn a whole lot more.
I've got a copy here.
Oh, there you go. It's got an interesting title.
Yes.
Never flying about what you say, and that's exactly what we've been talking about. It's like it's change. It's that conscious language change to the positive. So thank you, Ange, for gifting that to everyone. That's really, really lovely of you. Thank you so much. Do make use of that. Go to the link and grab your copy. And if you'd like to talk more one-on-one with Ange and what services she has, you'll be able to look at all of that and contact Ange through your website, and we'll put those details down in the comments as well so that people can contact you directly. Thank you again, Ange. It's been awesome, as always. We always end up chatting for half an hour to 3 hours. So it's been lovely to grab a snippet of that and share it with everybody else. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll let you get back to your little grandchildren. Thanks so much, Ange.